minisodes, right? But this will kind of be for everybody. But again, you only need to heed the request of supporting the show. But this will kind of include everyone, because I've been trying to figure out what to do, right? And I want to start out by saying that I really appreciate all the kindness people have been showing me. And this will kind of fold into my story because it's been like I've just got a lot going on personally, and right now I'm recovering from surgery, and nothing and right now I'm recovering from something, and I'll talk more about it. But if you want to stop listening, this is a more of a direct like discussion versus this isn't an episode of Sleep with Me to put you to sleep, right? So this is really a message going out to super listeners and people that are engaged with the show. So, and if you're not engaged with the show, or you're new, or you only listen occasionally, or you're not interested, you don't need to listen to this. Or if you like don't like me delving into personal stuff or the values behind the podcast, you don't have to listen. Really, like you really do not have to listen at all. And so, and I'm not saying that in a past, like just don't listen, because I'm really, it's a really like a small segment of the show I'm looking to reach out to, but this is an invitation for everybody. Beyond that a little bit, because so I'm recovering from getting work done on my hand, pretty major stuff, and I just recorded an intro, and I was like, man, I still got to do some sort of minisode because what we've been doing has kind of been working, but not quite working as far as like sustainability of the podcast. And I made this intro because last night was a rough one because of the work I had done, and I have like um, pretty extensive thing in my arm. I can't sleep in my normal positions, and there's a lot of discomfort, and uh, and there's like a lot of thoughts and feelings when there's discomfort, and then you can't sleep. So last night I was just up, for a while. I fell asleep, then I woke up, then I fell asleep again, and then around 4, I just couldn't get comfortable, right? And instead of getting up and following the advice on the show, putting on something to listen to, or reading a book, or just doing something else, I kind of tried to. There's like limited positions I could be in, and I just couldn't get comfortable. And then even when I did, my thoughts would start going. And this has kind of been a new struggle for me, right? And it's temporary, but I tried to train myself to sleep on my back, and I did not. I was unable to do so in preparation of all this. And the reason I'm sharing that is because and again, I was talking about it in this intro. It really brought me home to this idea of the podcast. So this is the invitation. I mean, it has been really rough the past couple months trying to get more and more people involved, and because it really triggers a other segment of listeners who take offense or just don't understand that I have to keep asking for support. Like a percentage of the listeners, especially the super listeners, uh, we need them to support the show in order to keep making it. And it does take a team of people and a lot of work to make the show. And if you don't believe that, or you don't like it, that's fine. But I do have to keep asking, right? And it has been working slower than anticipated. But every couple days I hear from somebody, and sometimes it's not always in nice terms, but they said, yeah, I'm one of those people you've been talking to, and I finally signed up to support the show. Like, you finally did get through to me. Um, and I signed up. Like, I was one of the people you're trying to get it through to. And we just tried something with all night listeners, and it didn't really work. And those are the kind of groups we need the most to support the show. Like, to be honest, if a percentage of all night listeners and people that fall asleep fast don't support the show just can't make it, like I've talked about. But it's also like really hard for me to keep at but so I've been trying to figure out, hey, how can I change this isn't working because what's doing is like making me, um, it's kind of like a group of a percentage of listeners are pushing me, and then I'm kind of getting in a place where it's like, do I even want to like, which is not true. Do I even want to keep making the show? Uh, if this is the case, or like almost like like it's creating a reaction in me. And so I did take a step back because it's been a while since I made these mini-sodes, and I'm in the middle of trying to move and recover from this, and but I know that those groups aren't the only groups out there, right? There's a lot of people that do support the show, or this new group of the super listeners who are slowly listening and hearing me, and I am getting through to them. It's like, hey, this I think this is going to work. Like, we're a little bit over a third of the way there, and I think we'll get there. And even if we get 2/3 of the way there, the show can keep getting along. It'd be great if we get all the way there, but so I have to kind of keep pushing, right? But here's the thing. So if you're listening to me and you're a super listener, I would ask you to please consider supporting the show on Sleep With Me Plus. You could sign up for a 7-day trial and cancel. You could try it for a few months and cancel, or you could see and get everything set up and realize it was designed with super listeners in mind, people that fall asleep fast, so that there's so many options so you don't get woken up. People that listen all night long, there's so many different options. People that are super listeners in other ways who have been listening for years, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, I only like the show during these years. You're a super listener, right? And so though like all the episodes for Boar Friends and Boar Besties, except for episode 1, are available. And there's a lot of different versions of the show. We built Sleep With Me Plus with super listeners in mind because the ads never supported that kind of listening anyway. And it's just a better experience. So I would encourage you to think about supporting the show at Sleep With Me Plus. But here's the thing for everybody, because I want to get everybody involved in this in a very specific way. So I hope you're still listening and hearing me. And I realize a lot of people probably tune me out, and a lot of people maybe are not listening or paying attention. But that's the thing I want to keep going back to. So if you're listening and hearing me right now, we really could use your support on Sleep With Me Plus. Or if you're like, no, I'm not, I already decided I'm not going to support the show, or no, I just can't support the show. I'd still ask, hey, pause and think about it. But okay, so yeah, it's not now you could support the show on Sleeping Plus and still do this, or you could still do this. And it's a passive active thing that I've been talking about for at least the last year or two. But I want to bring you into it on a more, I don't know, I want to invite you. Instead of this being this thing, I don't know, like I want to invite everybody to be a part of this. And it's something you could do in every single episode you listen to, which is when I go to this part in the newer intros, which I've been doing for a while, but you don't even have to do it. When I start talking about why I make the show, or at any part during the early intro, I want you to think about, what is it that the show does for you? What does it feel like for you when you can't sleep? And to know that there's other people out there, new listeners and regular listeners, who have gone through very similar experiences as you before you discovered the show. Maybe they're even a fan of the same things of the show as you. Maybe like, this is the whole thing with, because I've never, I've gone on a tangent in the middle of it, but because I've never had like this kind of type of physical obstacle to me sleeping, but I've heard so many listeners' stories who deal with chronic pain or other physical conditions that make it really hard for them to sleep. That's brought me to yet another new facet of listeners that I can kind of connect with. Because I get like the last couple, like, and it'll be going on for another couple weeks, I won't be able to get physically comfortable to sleep. So like now I'm like thinking of those listeners, right? that whose stories I've heard, but you can just imagine, hey, there's other people. This is what's keeping me from sleeping. This is what I like. These are the things. This is how this show feels that I like. Or this is how the kind of super listener I am. There's other people out there just like me listening. Where in the world are they? And can you send them? You don't have to send them love, but you could send them love. You don't have to send them hope, but you could send them hope. You don't have to send them anything, but you could think of them fondly and you could root for them. And you could also think, maybe they're rooting for me too. And think about like these valuable things about the podcast and the ways you've suffered in the deep, dark night. Um, and that there's other people out there listening right now. And just like to participate more actively, it'll be like an experiment too, that I think will work in an indirect way to bring you closer, not to the show, but to the other people listening to the show. And you could imagine even more like, oh, wait, there's people listening who don't struggle with the physical discomfort. Well, I could root for, maybe tonight I'll root for one of them. So that's just another way anyone, because all the other ways I've been trying to get people to support the show, they've been contentious for some listeners. I don't know that this is something you could passively pass on too, but you could passively partake in it to send your caring out to somebody else out there. Or here's the thing, you don't have to be a giver, and this is okay. And this, you could just receive it. Just like I tell new listeners, people that are checking the show for the first time, to think about those people out there are rooting for them. So I'd love it if you become a rooter. I don't know what we'll call it. I'm taking some time off from the show, well, even though I have to keep recording, but that's about the only thing I'm able to do right now, because it doesn't involve my hand and I can break up the times and record in smaller segments. But just start to think about it, and this will be an ongoing conversation, an ongoing thing you participate in. And think about those people that only listen because they're going through a tough time. You know, you could think about the people, if you're not a super listener, or even if you are a super listener, that there's people listening who aren't super listeners, right? Who are just going through a breakup or getting ready to go off to college, like someone in my family, or moving, or hey, they just had something done to their arm and their hand. And so I don't know, that's my invitation. But I would also love it if when you start participating in this and it does deepen, you're like, I am a super listener. Like, no, and I'll try to get this message out to the Sleep With Me Plus listeners too. Maybe I'll put this out as an audio newsletter too, or just in the listener Discord, because it's like when you're supporting the show, that's going from passive to active, or like active to active plus, and it doesn't take anything away from it. But it is something that, if you're hearing me and listening to me right now, the way we're able to do any of this is because of people that support the show. And that doesn't take anything away from people that don't support the show. But it is a fact that I still have to get through to those all-night listeners. Please, the people that fall asleep fast, please, if you are listening and hearing me, you're the only one. Like, the numbers of the last test we ran, it was depressing, like, that were directly geared towards all-night listeners. People have been listening longer than 3 years, and people that listen night after night after night after night. Please consider, if you're listening and hearing me and you're in one of those groups, you're the only person like listening and hearing me. The statistics are bad. Most people have tuned me out, or they're asleep, or they're tuning me out in a way of like, well, somebody else will still do it. And again, we only need you if you're in a position, and the only thing between you and supporting the show are those like little obstacles that I can help you. But I can promise you, every time you listen to that segment again, you'll still be able to participate in sending your rooting or receiving the rooting, but you'll also know like that the show at this point, the only reason it exists is because the people that support the show on Sleep With Me Plus. The ads are uh, minimal at this point as far as supporting that. They support the production of one episode a month. So if we were only relying on ads, there would only be one episode in the Sleep With Me feed at all. And then I guess we'd replace it every 30 days. And that's not what I want. Like when I think about all this, this show being free for everybody is one of the things that's important. But I think this other thing that we've been kind of developing over the past couple of years, I mean, ever since more and more, is like there's other people out there listening, and you can send them something across the deep dark night, and they can feel it, and it is important. And I want to invite you to participate in that. And see what it feels like. And when you need it, I guess this is the other reminder that I should have taken last night, is to receive it when you need it too, because it's real. And it's real easy to forget. Because last night I was like, oh, I guess I'm on my own. Oh, poor me. Instead of saying, well, you know, there's all those listeners you help out. I'm sure some of them are rooting for you right now. Think of all the emails of chronic pain sufferers, people in post-surgery circumstances you've heard from, Scoots. Wow. So that's it from me. I do want to reiterate the message. I'm not available right now, so I don't have use of my main hand, and I'm really tired most of the time. So you can, if you need help with Sleep With Me Plus, support at supercast.com is our support team there. And if you need help with other stuff, just check with your podcast app, because that's everything's working with the show right now. And we're still, we work way ahead after, everything that happened. It was a tough year we had last year and then this year. So we're working way far out, and we're to make sure, because I know what it's like in the deep dark night, right? And I just want to help. And I'm sorry that sometimes I get so stressed in my asks, or that I react to listener reactions and I start to go down this non-abundance idea. It's like, this isn't going to work out. And maybe I should just stop doing this. I'm going to take my choice and leave kind of attitude. But then I have stuff like this to remind me what's really important. And what's really important are the people that are hurting in the deep dark night. And that I don't have to do this alone. I can't make the show alone. But even in my own deep dark nights, starting with tonight, I got to remember I'm not alone. So whether you need to receive that energy or love or caring or rooting, however is comfortable for you to put it, whether you want to give it or receive it or do both tonight and every night moving forward, I'd invite you to do that, because that's the real way you can be part of something special for yourself and everybody else that's listening. So thanks so much. And I'll put this out. And again, this is also an encouragement to support the show on Sleep With Me Plus, so we can be here. We're trying to get 1,500 of the 20,000 free listeners who listen to the show the most, and have listened longest, listened to the most amount of episodes, or fall asleep really fast and don't listen to anything, or listen all night, to support the show. And we need about 1,000 more of those 20,000 people, or 19,500 people, 1,000 of those people. So if you're one of them, it'd be great if you signed up right away. And if you're not, that's okay too. Just partake in this this new thing, or think about it. Thank you, and good night.